The Everett City Council was about to vote on what I think is a very, very common sense, good public safety measure, which is when you have repeat offenders who are repeatedly committing public nuisance crimes. We saw this in the city of Marysville as well, that you got to have a mandatory sentence and put them in jail a little bit, because you got to get them off the streets. If they are continually doing the same kind of things that are eroding the quality of life for law-abiding, tax-paying citizens, then yeah, we got to have some sort of mandatory minimum in there just to get them off the streets. So I'm happy to report this did pass in the city of Everett. There was still some disagreement on the Everett City Council, but Mayor Cassie Franklin, who I've been very complimentary of for coming around, come to Jesus on criminal justice, she explained why she is in support of this ordinance.
I know there's a lot of folks that talked about punishment is not the way out, and I totally agree. Punishment is not the way to stop behavior. I see something like this as a tool to break a cycle, to give the victims reprieve from the repeat offending that's happening and the repeat victimization, and also hopefully that individual enough time and the opportunity to take a different path, or if they're addicted, to get off of that. And as a person who has a family member on the streets struggling with addiction, I support this.
Yeah, I support it too. Amen, sister. I was a little worried when she started off saying, punishment does not stop this, but then she kind of elaborated, because I don't believe that just the act of throwing someone in jail stops maybe a lifetime of substance abuse or whatever the underlying reason is that they might be continually committing these crimes. I don't believe that either, but it doesn't hurt, okay? It's not going to hurt, and it protects all of us from them. And then, this is the kind of the argument before I get to this next council member who's unhinged. This is kind of the argument with prison, where people are like, well, prison doesn't rehabilitate people. Okay, well, make prison rehabilitate people. Why are you failing then? Make prison better. Make the environment in prison, the programs that they're offered, the treatment that they get, make it better so it does rehabilitate them while they're serving their time. Easy. Okay? I sounded like Jay Inslee there. Okay. All right. Councilmember Mary Fossey. What are you talking about? So she was opposed to this. She did vote no. I think she was always going to vote no, although during the meeting she was trying to repeatedly amend it and soften the language, etc. But there was a prosecuting attorney who was testifying in favor of this and how it kind of might be applied. And Councilmember Mary Fossey just does not like the idea of jail time for crimes that she just does not think are a big deal.
Some of these crimes, though, are like loitering. I mean, these aren't felony level crimes, correct? So
They used to be, some of them.
But they're not. This is loitering.
For the purposes of drug-related activity.
Yeah, and car prowls. If the solution is like, well, we want to put them in there because we want to have, adequate punishment for these people that are, car prowling, how expensive that is to put somebody in there. I mean, like, you could have compensated the victim by paying their rent or their mortgage for that month.
What? What are you talking about? So what you would like to do is, if someone commits a crime that costs someone money, breaks a window, steals something from them, rather than hold that person accountable, you're going to take taxpayer money and give it to the victim? And then what happens to the person who did it? They're like, oh, taxpayers foot the bill for my criminal conduct? How is this woman in any sort of rule-making position? And this kind of fits into the playbook we saw with police pursuits in Olympia, where they were like, oh, it's just motor vehicle theft. It's just property. So disconnected from the reality of why people are stealing cars, of what they go on to do with those cars. It's not just a property crime, of the people they go on to kill using those cars. Oh, it's just property. No, it's not. And for her to be like, oh, it's just, loitering. This isn't a kid who's, playing hooky from school and have got their skateboard and they're loitering around a gas station. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about habitual drug users who are congregating in areas for the purpose of buying and or selling drugs. That's what we're talking about here. and people who are not doing it once, but doing it so many times without consequence that the city is now saying, hey, we got to put a mandatory sentence in there of at least 30 days in jail just to keep them off the streets. And then how quick some of these people are, some of these progressives, pro-criminal, anti-police people, to dismiss and to sort of sacrifice other people's belongings. It's like, oh, it's just a vehicle prowl. Like, you'll get over it. No, I won't get over it. Yes, I want them to go to jail. You don't get to, why are you telling me how upset I should be by someone stealing my car, by someone breaking in my window to rummage through my belongings? How dare you? Ridiculous. So Everett, thank you for the sanity, though. Thank you for the sanity in passing this. And more we're going to start to see cities take actions like this because, you have this hands-off approach to drug offenses, this hands-off approach to violent crime that is really out of the control of some of these local jurisdictions. Those are county level decisions, state level decisions. And so they're trying to do what they can to take what really is. You're talking about, when you look at the criminal infrastructure, especially misdemeanors and gross misdemeanors, it's a small number of people that account for most of the crime. You see that. So yeah, let's throw the book at them. Let's throw the book at them. Let's make our communities better. Let's protect law-abiding, tax-paying citizens. And the city of Everett, love it. Because that's not some sort of right-wing, stronghold up there. These are progressives. And they did something that is actually progress. Actually progress. Well done.